Welcome to L.I.D with Oma. I'm excited to have you here. I'm going to answer this question in a jiffy. Why am I always horny? Let me tell you something. Everything that happens to your body must first pass through your mind. So you're always horny because you have accepted thoughts of sex and it has become not just a visitor, it's now the boss of the home. Thoughts come actually like visitors. You have a flash of something, you see someone, oh my gosh, this is what you're thinking about. You're thinking of a naked person, you're thinking of, making out, you're thinking of this, thinking of that. Some of those thoughts come as flashes, but what happens with those thoughts in your mind actually depend on you. And this question is very important because when you see someone so consumed with thoughts of a particular thing, let me tell you, you are taking the time out of other things you were supposed to do. So imagine a person going to the office. You're supposed to, focus on tasks given to you, but you're so consumed with thoughts of how to make out. You can't wait to leave the office, and your whole day is unproductive because of this singular thoughts. Those are the kind of issues that people are faced with that makes it very important to settle some of these things, because you are wasting your time, you are wasting by extension your life. You're looking for something that is not lost. Okay, in due time it will be settled. If you're single, when you're married, you get all of that. If you're married, I know a lot of complicated scenarios actually happen in marriages where maybe the one partner is not being satisfied and the other, but it can be addressed beyond just being consumed with thoughts of it. Okay, so what I want to say in essence here is that your mind is the gate. Your mind is the gate. If you let it consume your mind, you would definitely allow, you would definitely take control of your body. When we talk about being sexually stimulated and the urges and all of that, people talk about hormones, they talk about testosterone, okay, but these hormones actually work with our minds. Like the emotions we have, what we call emotions, are actually chemical reactions. You are, first of all, in control of your mind. The emotions, the chemicals that react in your body, you have control over them. But the thing is, when a visitor knocks on your door and you give that person the power to come into your house, the power you had initially when the person had not come in has reduced, because the person has come into your house. Number one, the person has seen your house. Okay, even if he or she has not made any move, the person has taken in the environment in your house. So it's important that you address this issue head on from the very beginning. The more time you waste addressing, issues of sexual thoughts, the more power those thoughts have over your life. For example, you were in the middle of a situation, a lady or a guy has undressed himself or herself before you, and you are just torn in between like the devil and the deep blue sea. At that point it might be a bit challenging to make a decision to not do what is wrong, but I tell you that before you got to that point, you could have actually made a better decision earlier on. So the more time you waste taking the right decision, the more unlikely you are to take the right decision. So it's very important. Apart from hormones, we have control over our mind, and that is the main thing that this video wants to achieve. You have control over your mind. You have control over what comes into your mind. The Bible says that you have to guard your hearts with all diligence. Don't talk about the heart, talk about the mind. What comes into your mind is very important. Something that I did that helped me so much, I want to share with the whole world. It might be hard for us to accept it, but that's really the truth. The songs that we listen to, they go a long way. They go a long way in determining the person that you become. When it comes to sexual challenges, the kind of music you let into your system, the kind of movies you watch. I'm not talking about porn now. Porn is like, everybody knows porn is it's like an addiction on its own. But there are movies generally that you go to the cinema to watch, and you see that there's so much of X-rated content there. You see time will be spent 15 minutes just talking about this showing, two people making out and all of that, and it's where is it getting into? Is it bouncing on the wall? It's getting into your mind. It's getting into your mind. And it's funny how these things work, because there is nobody in history that has ever come out to say, I am the one who discovered sex. I don't know if you've ever thought about that. People say, oh, Mungo Park discovered the Niger River, this person discovered Africa, this person discovered, the New World. Nobody has ever said that he or she discovered sex. Sex is not something to be discovered, it's innate. When you are in the situation with your spouse on your wedding night, nobody needs to teach you. You will get over. I know there are instances of people, oh, they don't know how to do this, they don't know how to do that, but you will always find a way. You will always find a way. When the love is there, the emotions are there, you always find a way. It's in it. It comes with the system. So you can't tell me that you're watching this thing to learn how it's done. Those things are lies that the devil peddles to us, for us to take in lust. 3 points I want to draw quickly about how you can control your mind. You have to be aware. You have to be prepared. You don't just go out just thinking, oh, nothing's going to happen. There are going to be times you're going to be faced with things that are not supposed to, enter your mind. You need to be proactive. You need to be proactive. You need to understand that the world that we're in is full of what it's full of. The Bible says that all the things that are in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the pride of life, the lust of the flesh, for example, is what we're focusing on today. It is in the world. Don't go out expecting some, magic angels going to be, waving at you. It is what is in the world that you're going to meet in the world. You're in the world, but you're not of the world as a child of God. So it's very important that we are aware and we are prepared. Be prepared to see ladies that are not properly dressed. Go out with that mindset so that you understand that when it happens, you know what to do immediately. You don't have to wait, oh, this is what is happening, and before you know it, you're taking in everything. You're taking in the sensuality that probably the person wants to portray. So you have to be prepared and you have to be aware of what is happening. Number 2, you have to erase and replace. This is one point that many people miss it. In my life, I had an issue with that. When I was trying to replace certain thoughts, I was trying to remove certain thoughts. And to a large extent, I would succeed in removing those thoughts. But at the end of the day, I would come back to those thoughts. You can't have, there's no vacuum in nature. I think that is scientific. There is no vacuum in nature. So if you're removing negative thoughts, if you're removing the thoughts of always thinking of somebody's nakedness, what is coming into your mind matters. It makes all the difference. It's good you're making an effort. Oh, I don't want to think about this, I don't want to think about that. But what are you using to replace those thoughts? Okay? So I'm a child of God. I'm a Christian. I believe that you replace those thoughts with the Word of God. It worked for me, it works for everybody. You just need to try it. This thing they call lust is a slave master. It's a slave master. Things that you do not want to do, it just makes you do them. You're in the office, you have a deadline, and you're thinking of sex, you're thinking of masturbation, you're thinking of, you can't make anything out of yourself because of something that is stuck in your head. It's a slave master. We do not want that. So when you're trying to take yourself out of something, you must put yourself in a different camp. What are you using to fill your mind? What are you using to, preoccupy yourself? What is important to you? If you don't want to think about this, what do you want to think about? It's a point we need to note and we need to be deliberate about. Number 3, we have to understand that it is our choice. It is our choice what we think about. Sometimes, let's say before, I used to find it really funny when someone would say you wouldn't think about sex. Like, how is that possible? You're a human being, you don't have to think. But I understand better now because my mind is my mind. Like, it is actually my mind. I actually own my mind. So what I think about is my decision. It's for me to determine what I think about. Like I said earlier, when those thoughts come, they are like visitors. What you do with them matter. And you have the power to actually reject or accept those visitors. If, for example, I have a thought, okay, I need to go to the market now, but oh, I just remembered that I need to eat breakfast first. I won't just say, oh, because I thought about going to the market. The very moment I think about that, I just start leaving my house. I knock that off in the meantime, because I know there's something else more urgent I need to attend to. I understand that for me to be productive in the market, I need to feed myself. I need to probably take my bath. I need to clean my house first before I go to the market. It's just we do these things every day. You know, you keep some thoughts that is less important behind, and then you do something that is more important. We do that every day. So it's not a problem. It's not a problem. It's just a thing of choice. Do you really want to do it? Most of us actually who have issues with loss find in a way pleasure from it. That's why it's difficult to get out of it. You know, it's a bit pleasurable, but you have to decide. It's a thing of choice. Do I want to do this? Do I want to think about this? If you're thinking something negative about somebody, it's your choice whether you want to continue thinking about that thing or not. I'm going to also share a couple of points how you can maintain, you can grow your self-control and sexual integrity. Number one, do not allow obscenities to be used in your presence. Some of the things we consider jokes, they actually are breaking our walls. You know, you just see someone, oh, she did this, she did that, oh, she's funny like this. People make sexual jokes. If you allow them around you, those things are actually building up your, you know, your sexual mind in a way that it gets out of control. There are certain things that should not always be joked about. If you're joking about something like that with your partner, maybe your husband or wife, it's a different thing from you just walking down the road. You want to get something and you're joking about a private part. You're joking about, you know, you are a human being. No matter what you are, no matter who you are, no matter maybe you say you're spiritual or something, it affects your mind. So the obscenities that we allow, the jokes we allow, the kind of things that we allow people to make little of, they actually get into our minds and they affect us. So you see, when you are exposed to constant, you know, mocking of the act of sex, and you're just all over the whole issue, you see that your mind is consistently consumed with those thoughts. So please, sometimes you have to actually tell the kind of friends you have around you, look, this is what I listen to, this is what I don't listen to. If people are saying certain things you do not like, you have the free will to move. You have the free will to leave that place. You don't have to stay in every single place to listen to every single conversation. I tell myself something. Movies, for example, I can't watch every movie. I'm not a census board. My mind is not a census board. I can't watch every single movie. Do not participate in jokes too. Just the way people say obscenities, maybe someone is making jokes around you and all of that, using some swear words, some sexual slangs and all that. If you do not allow that, you also shouldn't be part of it. Okay, if there are things like that in your vocabulary, you would need to replace them. You would need to look for other words of expression to communicate. Number three, do not underestimate the power of lust too. In the environment you are, you have to be watchful. There are times you are in a place, a lady, a guy, you're alone, and you're like, nothing's gonna happen. You know, little things actually go a very long way. When it comes to things like this, you need to give yourself some extra advantage, just in case. You know, some rules that I put around me: you don't visit me as a guy alone and things like that. I don't visit guys maybe when you're alone, things like that. It might work for you, it might not work for you, but the main thing is you have to set boundaries. Don't just take it that, okay, we know how these things are. Even if you're in a public place, if you know this thing, it has it's like a passion. It's like a monster on its own. It can control you. So you'll be surprised, you're even in the park and you feel like there are a lot of people. When you have those tendencies, just try to walk away. Try to make sure that it doesn't progress to the next phase, because as I said earlier, the more you linger, the more you delay from making that decision, the more difficult it becomes for you to actually make the right decision. So you don't want to do that. And when you allow these things the first time, it becomes very easy to do it the second time. The third time is, easier than the second, and it just keeps going on like a circle. So the more you are sexually active, the more the thoughts would overwhelm you. So it's a circle that must be broken, and it will be broken as you listen to this video and you put these things into practice. Number 4, this is very important. It doesn't happen every time, but whenever it's about to happen, you can actually watch against it. Try to avoid revelationary conversation. Someone is telling you about how he or she made a mistake, how he or she did this with that person and all that, and they're giving you a lot of details. That could be a trap for you. It could be a weak point for you. You don't need those details, especially with the opposite sex. If you want to talk to somebody about something you did, and probably you think the details would in some way be unavoidable, try to talk about it with somebody of the same sex. Try to talk about it with a mentor, someone that's older than you, because same sex issues also happen. So you need to be careful. The kind of closeness some sexual conversations can get, it also matters. Try to object immediately if someone is touching you or trying to make sexual advances at you. Try to end that initiative at the very instance. Do not wait to say, okay, let's see where this is heading. For example, someone tells you, okay, you have a piece of undies, and the person is saying, I would like to know how you look in this undies. Maybe you got the undies at the supermarket, and someone making that kind of statement. You don't need to wait. You don't need to wait for it to progress for you to know that this is where this person is heading. So there's certain things like that you have to nip it in the bud, like in the very beginning, when it's about to grow, when it's about to spring forth. You just cut it off there so that it doesn't grow. These things are actually very important, because my generation, I see a lot of people who their lives are actually wasting because of this sexual pressure. There's so much sexual pressure in your mind. There's so much sexual pressure in your mind, and you're trying to make decisions with that pressure. That pressure will not allow you to make good decisions. So my sincere advice is this: you can't make good decisions with sexual pressure in your mind. If you want to make a marital decision, for example, and all you're thinking about is how you can sleep with a woman, you're not going to make the very best decision. Maybe she's the right person for you, maybe not, maybe he's the right person or not. But don't allow that situation to just get overwhelming for you and becloud your sense of judgment. Okay, thank you so much for watching to this very point. I hope you learned a thing or two. If you like this video, please like it, and subscribe to my channel if you have not. It's a learning process for everybody, including myself. So I would like to hear feedback from you in the comment section. Have you had issues with things like this? Do you believe it could be this way, or maybe a different way? Maybe you feel that's not the reason why people are horny. Maybe it's not bad to always be horny, even when we're supposed to be productive in other issues. Let me hear your feedback in the comment section below. Thank you very much for staying tuned to this point. Till next time, please have a nice filled day. Thank you so much.